Homeless man asks LeBron James, "Can you give me $1?" LeBron's response is shocking. It was a bright afternoon in downtown Los Angeles, the city bustling with energy. Luxury cars roared past gleaming storefronts, their windows showcasing the latest designer fashion and sparkling jewelry. Tourists strolled the streets with shopping bags in hand, their laughter and chatter echoing against the towering glass buildings. Sidewalk cafes were packed with well-dressed patrons sipping on expensive lattes and enjoying gourmet meals. Amid this display of wealth and indulgence sat John, a homeless man in his mid-40s, slumped against the corner of a busy street. His clothes were tattered and layered, a futile attempt to ward off the chill of the previous night. His hair was matted, and his face bore the weary lines of someone who had long struggled to survive. In front of him was a small cardboard sign that simply read, "Hungry. Anything helps." John's stomach growled loudly, but he ignored it. He had grown used to the constant pangs of hunger, the gnawing reminder of how far he had fallen. Every so often, a passerby would glance his way, their expressions a mix of pity and discomfort, but most walked by without so much as a glance. Some even crossed the street to avoid him altogether, as if his presence was an inconvenience to their perfect day. The clinking of coins in his small plastic cup was sparse, a reminder that generosity was hard to come by. John sighed deeply, wondering how much longer he could hold on. The stark contrast between his desperation and the wealth surrounding him only deepened his sense of invisibility. Little did he know, his life was about to take an extraordinary turn that would remind him, and those around him, that even in the darkest moments, hope can shine through. John sat on the corner, his gaze fixed on the ground, when he noticed a tall figure approaching. The man was dressed simply in a plain hoodie, basketball shorts, and sneakers. He wore a cap pulled low and sunglasses that partially obscured his face. At first glance, he looked like any other passerby, just another person caught up in the flow of the bustling Los Angeles street. As the figure drew closer, John felt an odd sense of familiarity. Something about the man's towering frame and confident stride seemed recognizable, but John quickly dismissed the thought. Why would someone he might know, or anyone, for that matter, stop to notice him? But desperation has a way of making you take risks, even when hope feels futile. Gathering what little courage he had left, John raised his voice, his words trembling as they left his lips. "Excuse me, sir," he called out. "Can you spare $1?" To John's surprise, the man stopped. Most people would have hurried past, pretending not to hear, but this man turned toward him, tilting his head slightly as if to get a better look. Slowly, he crouched down to John's level, pulling off his sunglasses to reveal a kind and familiar face. John's eyes widened as recognition dawned on him. "You're LeBron James?" John stammered, barely able to believe what he was seeing. LeBron smiled warmly, his demeanor as approachable as his reputation suggested. "Yeah, man, that's me. How's it going?" His voice was calm and friendly, without a hint of judgment. John hesitated, unsure how to respond. No one had stopped to talk to him in days, let alone someone as famous as LeBron James. "Could be better," he admitted, his voice low. "Just trying to get enough for a meal." LeBron nodded thoughtfully, glancing at the small pile of coins in front of John. "I hear you," he said. "But how about we do more than that today?" John blinked, unsure if he had heard correctly. "What do you mean?" he asked cautiously. LeBron extended a hand to help John up, his smile unwavering. "Let's get you sorted out. First, let's grab some food. You like barbecue?" John stared at him, speechless. This was far beyond what he had expected, far beyond anything anyone had ever offered. As he hesitated, LeBron's voice softened. "Come on, man. Everybody deserves to eat." Overwhelmed by the gesture, John finally nodded. "Yeah, I like barbecue," he said quietly, taking LeBron's hand. As they walked toward a nearby restaurant, people on the street stopped to watch, their eyes widening as they recognized the NBA legend. For John, it felt surreal, like a dream he didn't want to wake up from. LeBron led John into a cozy, family-owned barbecue restaurant just a few blocks away. The warm, smoky aroma of freshly grilled meat filled the air as they stepped inside. The soft hum of conversation from diners momentarily quieted as heads turned to look at the towering figure entering the establishment. Whispers quickly spread through the room as people recognized LeBron James, but he paid no attention to the stares. Instead, he focused entirely on John, who stood hesitantly by his side, visibly overwhelmed. "Go ahead, man," LeBron said, gesturing toward the counter. "Order whatever you want. Today's on me." John hesitated, his eyes darting between the expansive menu and LeBron's encouraging smile. It had been so long since he'd had the luxury of choosing a meal that the options felt overwhelming. I guess I'll take a pulled pork sandwich," he said nervously, then added, "and maybe some mac and cheese." LeBron laughed warmly. "Solid choice," he said, turning to the cashier. "Add a rib platter, extra sauce, and a couple of cornbread muffins, too. Oh, and sweet tea for both of us." The cashier, clearly starstruck, quickly rang up the order while sneaking glances at LeBron. After handing over a crisp $100 bill and telling her to keep the change, LeBron guided John to a table by the window. As they waited for their food, LeBron leaned back in his chair and asked gently, "So, John, what's your story? How'd you end up here?" John hesitated, unsure how much to share, but LeBron's genuine interest made it easier to open up. He spoke of losing his job after the company downsized, the eviction that followed, and the harsh reality of living on the streets. His voice trembled at times, but LeBron listened intently, nodding occasionally without interrupting. There was no judgment in his eyes, only empathy. When their food arrived, John's eyes widened at the generous portions in front of him. He hesitated for a moment before taking a bite, his face lighting up as he tasted the tender, smoky barbecue. "This is amazing," he said between bites, his voice filled with gratitude. LeBron smiled. "Told you, barbecue never disappoints." For the first time in a long while, John felt seen, heard, and cared for. It wasn't just the food, it was the kindness, the attention, and the humanity LeBron extended. Around them, onlookers whispered in awe, snapping pictures of the surreal moment unfolding before their eyes. After finishing their meal, John leaned back in his chair, feeling a sense of fullness and satisfaction he hadn't experienced in years. "Thank you," he said quietly, his voice thick with emotion. "I don't even know how to repay you for this." LeBron smiled and waved a hand dismissively. "You don't owe me anything, man," he said. "But we're not done yet." John blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" LeBron stood up, gesturing for John to follow. "Come on. You've got a full stomach now, but let's get you feeling like the man you're meant to be. First stop, let's clean you up." Still unsure if this was real, John followed LeBron out of the restaurant and down the street to a sleek barbershop with large windows and a polished sign. As they walked in, the receptionist's eyes widened. "LeBron James," she gasped. LeBron grinned. "Yeah, it's me. I need your best stylist to take care of my guy here. Haircut, shave, the works." John hesitated, glancing down at his tattered clothes. "I don't know if this place is for someone like me," he muttered. LeBron turned to him, his expression serious but kind. "Hey, don't say that. You deserve this just like anyone else. Trust me, everyone needs a reset sometimes." Encouraged by LeBron's words, John let the staff lead him to a chair. As the stylist worked, trimming his overgrown hair and giving him a clean shave, John began to feel lighter, almost as if years of hardship were being washed away. When he stepped out of the chair and looked in the mirror, he barely recognized himself. For the first time in years, he saw a man who looked confident and capable. LeBron wasn't done yet. He handed John a bag of clothes he'd quietly picked up earlier, a crisp shirt, sturdy jeans, and a jacket. "Put these on, man. Fresh look, fresh start." John changed and emerged from the back room feeling transformed. "I don't know what to say," he said, his voice trembling. LeBron patted him on the shoulder. "You don't need to say anything. Just remember, it's not about where you've been, it's about where you're going. And when you're back on your feet, pay it forward. Help someone else the way I helped you." For the first time in years, John felt like he had a future worth looking forward to. As the day wound down, John felt an overwhelming mix of gratitude and disbelief. He had gone from sitting on the street, hungry and invisible, to experiencing kindness that had completely transformed his outlook. But LeBron James wasn't finished yet. "Listen, man," LeBron said as they stood outside the barbershop. "You're looking sharp and feeling good, but you need more than just clothes and a meal to get back on your feet. I know a shelter nearby that does incredible work helping people get a fresh start. They'll get you set up with a place to stay and connect you with the resources you need." John hesitated, unsure if he deserved such generosity. "You've already done so much for me," he said quietly. "I don't want to take advantage of you." LeBron placed a hand on his shoulder and smiled warmly. "This isn't about taking advantage, John. It's about helping each other. I've been blessed in my life, and it's my responsibility to give back. Everybody deserves a second chance." With that, LeBron handed John a card with the shelter's contact information and personally called ahead to ensure John would be welcomed. "Go there tonight," LeBron insisted. "They'll take care of you." As they parted ways, John felt a warmth in his chest that wasn't just from the clean clothes or the food, it was from the dignity and respect he had been shown. For the first time in years, he felt like a human being, not just another face in the crowd. In the weeks that followed, John began rebuilding his life. The shelter provided him with a safe place to sleep, access to counseling, and workshops to help him develop job skills. Slowly but surely, he started taking steps toward independence. LeBron's words stuck with him, "Pay it forward." Whenever he felt discouraged, he remembered the kindness that had brought him to this point. Months later, John had secured part-time work and was saving up for his own place. He still kept the card LeBron had given him as a reminder of that life-changing day. And true to his promise, John began paying it forward, whether it was sharing a meal with someone in need or simply offering a kind word to someone who felt invisible. LeBron's small act of kindness wasn't just about feeding a hungry man, it was about seeing him, treating him with dignity, and offering him hope. The story reminds us that even the smallest gestures can have life-changing effects. Kindness has a ripple effect, inspiring others to continue spreading compassion and humanity. The lesson is clear: treat everyone with respect, regardless of their circumstances, and use your blessings to uplift others. In a world often focused on material success, acts of kindness are the true measure of greatness.